Alright, so welcome back. Let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. Yes, I know, another CRKT. But why? Because I like CRKT. I'm sorry, they've gotten my attention so many times on stuff. And I gotta tell you, they've been coming out with some interesting knives. I'm always interested in their knives. And you can't go wrong with their prices. I know I got a subscriber who commented and told me that they wish that the blades were better quality. I do too. I do too. And I'm going to say this with honesty. So let's talk blades, everybody, because that's what we're into. I'm going to tell you right now, I wish that their blades came in a better steel. But the only problem with that is the prices are going to get worse. And that makes their knives a little more difficult to obtain. And yeah, I know that's a little bit common sense, but I gotta tell you, the blade steel to me doesn't matter too much as long as it's not 440C. I don't really care much for 440C stainless. I was brought up with it, and I can tell you that when I found out about AUS 8, and AUS 10, and all the other steels, but mostly AUS 8 and AUS 10 were better steels altogether. They just held a better blade, or a better edge, excuse me. Anyways, let's get into it. Talking too much. So we'll go ahead and open up this new CRKT. I saw it and I instantly wanted it. So, and at the price, I just had to pull the trigger on it. This is the CRKT Graphite. And this is probably the first knife that has a backlock for being a flipper designed knife, or at least so I'm told. Could be wrong, don't quote me on it, but that's just what I've been told. To me, it just looks very attractive to the eye. And yes, this is the first time you saw me break the seal on that. It's the first time I've ever seen this in person. So we will share the experience together, you and I. So here it is, and good lord, it's so... Oh man, this is really nice looking. It really is. I hate that. I have to carry it tip down. That is the only bad part about this knife, is that I have to flip and carry it tip down. Any case, still a beautiful looking knife. I haven't even opened it yet. So with this knife, it has a very simple yet interesting difference about it towards other knives. And that is... Excuse me. Let's try that again. And that is... Here's the blade. Ooh, that feels interesting in the hand. It really does. The jimping on here is subtle, but I can feel it. Kind of has that like sheep's foot, kind of curved sheep's foot with the very interesting serrations right there. They don't really look like serrations, but they are. It's not the VEF serrations, but still very interesting, and it goes well with this knife. It really does. Oh man, I gotta tell you, this is really interesting. And look at that open construction right there. That is different. And here it is again. Graphite. Klecker design. I gotta tell you, when I first saw this, I wanted to bite. I wanted to bite so bad. So, yeah, this knife is not that expensive. This is what, 56 bucks, I think. Hold on, my computer kind of just went to sleep on me. Give me a second. So, yeah, that is G10, a handle scale. This little part right here is G10, and it's on both sides. And I just found it to be a very interesting knife. So I instantly wanted to get one in my hands, and with the number of them available, I had to pull the trigger on it. So right now, yes, it is 5240. Now you're probably asking yourself, how do you unlock this thing? Because if you look, there is no locking mechanism on this knife. Now, what did I mention to you guys before? This knife is a back lock. But can you see the back lock? If you can, and you know about this knife, you're cheating. But I can tell you right now, the back lock is right here. And it's in the frame of this knife, which makes this knife extremely interesting in my personal opinion, and I'm sure in other people's opinions as well. You press down on this side right here, and it unlocks the blade. You see that? How interesting is that? That is something that you don't see in knives. Flipper design with an actual working back lock for the flipper. That is designed so that way you can have the flipper and a back lock on the same knife. That is, to me, it was, and it's deep carry. So yeah, plus side, everybody, this is a deep carry knife. And I love deep carry knives. Just sucks that you have to carry it tip down in this configuration. So when you pull it out the pocket, all you gotta do. And you know what, that's not too bad. I guess that's not too bad. This knife does feel a little bit short, in my opinion. It feels like I'm choking down a lot. My pinky kind of, if I'm not trying to go up like all the way up, because I can go all the way up like that, but it feels uncomfortable. For me, I would have to be a little bit more comfortable with this grip. So your pinky just kind of sits in that recessed section right here where the lanyard hole is. It's not bad. It really isn't. And then, of course, you know, you kind of want to go up to this little weird jimping area right here in order to do normal cuts. And you know what? I got to be honest with you, that's not too bad. If the handle was just a smidge longer to fit my hand, I would probably love this knife. But I'm not going to say this knife feels short. It feels like all the reach is like my thumb wants to sit right here in this area rather than up here where the jimping is. And my hand wants to sit all the way back here like that. Down here. I'm not going to say that I don't like that, but I'm not going to say that I like it either. This knife just feels a little short to me. In my hands anyways, because if you look, I mean, that's just, you know, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, if I choke up a little bit, like if my hand kind of goes over here, you're going to put your hand right in the path of the blade right here, and that part is, it's not sharp, but you can tell that this isn't really meant to be held like this. You can hold it back here. Anyways, let's go into the specs. I know I've been talking way too much, but that's just my personal opinion right off the bat, coming out of the box. But I think this is actually a really nice knife. It looks kind of steampunky to me, to be honest. It looks very steampunkish, so if you're kind of a steampunky kind of guy, you might like this. And it comes in at 4.48 ounces. Okay. And what else we got here? That is a 3 1/8 inch blade with an overall 7.5 inches. So yeah, it's kind of a short blade anyways. But this is still a very nice, this is a nice knife. This is very, it's interesting. When you close this, I think it would be best advised to make sure that you use both hands to do it, because it's all the way back here, kind of like the Buck 110, You know, when you unlock the back lock is all the way back here. This is very much reminiscent to that Buck 110. So the only difference is this is a flipper design that has a very interesting locking mechanism that is found on the handle itself rather than recessed into one. And I gotta be honest with you, that is really cool. It's really interesting. Am I ever going to carry this knife? If I do, it has to be coupled with a knife that I know is going to be for self-defense, because I wouldn't be able to use this for self-defense. I mean, I probably could, but I wouldn't want to accidentally... I mean, you can't accidentally unlock this knife. You have to deliberately take two hands in order to close it. So that's interesting enough, I guess. Let's go into thickness, shall we? So on the handle itself, 12.1 on the blade, 3.4. So it's small. This is like a really, really neat, flashy, steampunk gentleman's folder. And let's go ahead and see how sharp it is. Here it is with the pipel. Sorry, I'm gonna need new paper soon. I've been using the same paper for like the past 3 videos right now. So yeah, it's got a really good edge on there. It's not like super duper sharp, but it's a workable edge. Anytime that I see a sheep's foot kind of knife, I see the knife as more of a tool knife rather than a self-defense knife. Although you can use this for self-defense if you feel you need to, and it's the only thing you're carrying on you, then why not? I mean, if you can use a frickin' box cutter to deter an attacker, then I'm pretty sure the graphite can do just the same, especially with the fact of it being a decent knife like this. I gotta tell you though, I feel like this knife handle could be longer. You know, but maybe it's meant for your thumb to choke up where the jimping is here, so you're holding it like that, so it makes it feel like you have a full grip on there for a knife that looks like it's intended to be held like such, rather than like this. But it naturally wants to sit that way, at least in my hands anyway. So it feels short. So maybe this is the way it's supposed to be gripped, because the jimping's up here and the guard is down here, and maybe that's how it's supposed to be felt, to be cut, to use this in cutting for this in this configuration. To close it, press down on this and it unlocks right here. As long as you guys can see that it unlocks that. You guys can see it. It's unlocking it. So that is pretty neat. You cannot configure the pocket clip in any other way. It has to be in that configuration only. And of course the lanyard holes right there. So it's just a very interesting knife. And I'm happy to own it. I think it's a really, really nice knife. Could the blade steel be better? Yeah. You know, I gotta be honest with you. What is this, 7CR13 MOV, I think? Or 8CR13? Hold on, give me a second before I close out the video. I want to be able to make sure that I got my information right. What is going on? Yeah, 8CR13 MOV steel. So, yeah. If it ain't 8CR, it's 7CR13. Yeah, it's purposely meant to be short. And it's supposed to be a tool knife. So this is a great tool knife. This is a very interesting tool knife. If I carry this knife, obviously I'm going to be carrying a secondary, or a secondary knife, one for self-defense and then one for tool usage, which would be this one. This one would be that nice little tool knife that you pop out to open up boxes and such, cut some rope, or whatever you feel necessary to use this knife for other than self-defense. But if you really had to use this for self-defense, I'm pretty sure this could work just as well. Especially if you just pull out a razor to defend your life, then I'm sure this might just do just the same. I'm telling you, CRKT, man, they do it. They make some oddball knives that really catch my attention. And not to mention, the price tag is kind of just one of those things where it's like, man, there's no reason not to, you know? So that's just my personal opinion. So go ahead and stab that like button, / that subscribe. I know I kind of did that one backwards. I'm a little tired today, excuse me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a bunch.